The New Orleans Saints wrap things up in Metairie and start to point the fleur-de-lis out west. Hi again, everybody. Welcome into the Saints Training Camp Report with John DeShazier. I'm Sean Kelley. The weekend has come to an end with an outdoor practice here at the Oyster Sports Performance Center. The Saints barely got their long practice in before the skies opened up. Nonetheless, pretty successful. Nice crowd out here today, John. Good cap for the weekend ahead of a day off tomorrow.
Yeah, this is the way you want to finish out a week. A crisp practice heading into a day off. No injuries, and that, always knock wood on that, but I think they got in a lot of quality work, and that's the whole purpose.
Head coach Sean Payton seemed pleased after practice. We were also pleased to see Marcus Davenport continue his rebound, if you will, the first-round pick, fully dressed alongside his teammates today. Did a lot of conditioning work, John, off to the side. He seems teed up and ready to go to really get it up and moving in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Coach Payton mentioned the ramping up of his work, and we certainly expect to see him going against the Chargers during the week, and then hopefully this weekend. He needs to get back in football shape, and he needs to get back on the field, get his conditioning, and hopefully see a little bit of what he's got.
Meanwhile, Kurt Coleman and his teammates are looking forward to upcoming joint practices with the Los Angeles Chargers, and for a guy like Coleman, who was kept out of the second preseason game, John, this is an important stretch of camp for him, a veteran, to use these workouts against somebody wearing a different jersey.
Well, we're talking about game simulation during joint practices generally. I mean, guys are really getting after it, trying to see how they measure up, because look, all this goes on film, and it's a competitive situation. It's not the same as going against a teammate. Now the competitive juices jump even more because you have an opponent over there with a different colored jersey, and you always want to show up well on film.
Head coach Sean Payton agrees with Kurt Coleman and also looks forward to those practices.
I think the greatest thing is, I think almost, I don't want to say complacency when you go against your own team, but it kind of ramps up the competition. I think if you look at what's happened over these last couple of weeks when teams have been practicing, there's been several fights. Because it's very intense. But I think the one thing that you want to be able to come out of it is going against a different opponent, different people, and pushing yourself. You want to be able to grow. Obviously, fights will happen, but that's not what you want. You want to have good, hard, competing practices. And hopefully both teams can come away with saying, we learned this, or maybe, you're going against a certain wide receiver. Keenan Allen's a really good wide receiver. Hopefully, whether it be Crawley, Marshawn, whoever it is you can learn some things from great wide receivers.
Those practices on Wednesday and Thursday in Carson, California. Also a bit of a homecoming for a guy like Manti Te'o. We talked about this a little bit last year. He reiterated again how cool it is to go up against some of his old teammates.
Obviously, there's a lot of excitement there. Got a lot of friends on that team, and I'm excited for our team to go out there and to compete. It was a good time for us to go out there last year, and we ended the trip the way we wanted to, and hopefully we can go out there, get some good work in with a good team, and compete on Saturday. And that's what this is all about. It's nice to compete against a different colored jersey, and for me, especially to go against familiar faces. So.
And John, this is a pretty good Chargers team that the Saints will work with this week leading up to a preseason game on Saturday night. A very good defense. They've got Phillip Rivers, a good receiving core as well. There's a real challenge here what the Saints are up against this week.
Yeah, we're talking about a team that has a fantastic set of defensive ends and really can give you problems defensively. And as you mentioned, Phillip Rivers, a veteran quarterback who has picked apart a lot of NFL teams, high on the all-time charts in terms of passing yards, efficiency. He lost a weapon in Antonio Gates. Doesn't have him anymore. They might end up having to bring him back because of some injuries, but certainly a talented team across the board.
Well, we all know how good Cam Jordan is, and he certainly tips the cap to those bookend defensive ends you referred to, Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa.
He's special. His first couple steps are special. Watching film out here, he explodes off. He talked about hand combinations, just the smoothness of the ability to create pressures and pass rush. Joey Bosa's up there. Love watching both of their film. So I feel like our offensive line I have it cut out for him, but at the same time, they've been going up against me and Marcus and a healthy dose of Alex Okafor and Trey Hendrickson, so I think they're well prepared.
Absolutely no doubt about it. The Saints are ready for those joint practices. This is coming at a perfect time during training camp, John.
Yeah, because again, you break some monotony. Now they've played a couple of preseason games. I understand that, but now the joint practices, that's always a highlight of training camp for teams because they have also worked against each other a ton of times and they're just sick of each other. So now getting some quality work against another team also benefits them.
Nicely done today with a good, I think you used the word crisp, a nice crisp practice today that kind of leaps you out onto the tarmac and heading west for those joint practices.